So I've been thinking about making this video for a while now. There's a lot of videos on YouTube that suggest what kind of electric bike to buy and, you know, all of the pros and the cons of the different hardware that you can get. But I don't see any videos addressing whether or not you should even buy an electric bike and really what it's like to own one. I got into electric bikes a good few years ago with my friend Jay, and we actually built the batteries that we were putting on them, and we used these rear electric motors that are built into the wheel. But since then I've switched to more conventional hardware such as this battery rack. And I remember when I first got an electric bike and I took it into work, and the reactions were very interesting. For me, I was really excited about owning an electric bike, but for others it was almost that like they were very critical of it. Like, why do you own, why do you even own an electric bike? Doesn't the electric wheel destroy the point of the bike? As though the only reason you would buy a bike is for exercise. When I was younger and I had a bike, I rode my bike because I enjoyed riding my bike. And, these days I'm a little bit heavier than I should be, and I don't feel as though owning an electric wheel is cheating. To me, the electric wheel is enhancing the bike that I have. Now, if you're planning to buy an electric bike with the idea that you're going to lose lots of weight, then hopefully you're already enjoying riding bikes. Because if you don't enjoy riding bikes, you might not enjoy riding an electric bike that much. And you might ride it for a minute, but then it might kind of end up like the treadmill with the clothes hanging over it. You really have to get one to enjoy it. Now, for me, the electric wheel also gives me the confidence to travel further. For example, maybe I want to ride into the city and get food while I'm there. Well, I can ride there and I can pedal most of the way, but if for some reason my leg hurts, or I just want to get home because maybe it's going to rain, the electric wheel is there and it can really, it can get you home a lot quicker. And it's something that it just really makes me feel confident in riding the bike. And case in point, I've been riding with my friends before, and at one point we went riding for almost 50 miles, and I took the electric wheel with me, and I didn't use it until the last minute. I say the last minute, I didn't use it until the last couple of miles when we all really just wanted to get home. And it was kind of funny because we'd all been pedaling, and I was definitely the unfittest in the group. But at this point I was like, okay, you guys really want to get home, and I feel like I'm holding you back. So I just full throttled it home, and my two friends were pedaling to keep up, and it didn't even really occur to me. And by the time we got back, they were absolutely exhausted. And of course I was not, because the electric wheel did all of the work for those 2 miles. But I would have never have gone riding for 50 miles if I hadn't had that electric wheel to make me feel as though I could do that. Now, I would imagine that a question I'll get on this video is, how much did this cost? And in the case of this bike, the bike was around $200 from eBay. The electric wheel kit, which also has an LCD screen, that was around $200 as well. And then the battery with the mount and charger was around $200. All in all, approximately $600 was spent to build this bike. If you go on Amazon today, you'll find bikes built and ready to be delivered to your home for around that price. And they're going to be a very similar build quality to this, but you don't get any of the headaches, such as how do you mount the battery and all of that kind of stuff. So I would recommend, if you're trying to get a bike, to just get something like that from Amazon. Don't go and blow $4,000 or $5,000 on a bike that you're not even sure you're going to enjoy, right? You can start out with something like this. This has satisfied my needs, and I don't feel the need to get anything bigger. It's plenty fast enough. In some ways I think it's too fast, and I don't need a really expensive bike. I just don't need one. I will say a few tips if you're planning to build one yourself. Definitely try to find a bike with disc brakes on the front and the back, just because they're easier to adjust. Don't get a bike with suspension in the middle. and try to get a flat bar like this for when you mount the battery, because it's a lot easier to mount it to something that's flat. Aluminum bikes are lighter, and when you add an electric wheel, it does get heavier, so that's kind of nice. However, the steel bikes are maybe stronger, so pros and cons. But in this case, this is an aluminum bike. It was just something I found on eBay a few years back, and you know, I just really like having an electric wheel. The other question I'd imagine that I would get would be, how reliable has this bike been? And for me, the electrical components are very reliable. You know, as long as you're not storing your bike out in the rain, it can, you know, it can really handle near enough anything. You have the typical issues with bikes like flat tires and things like that, but that's something that, you know, that's a problem that you're going to get no matter what bike you ride. You can avoid some of those issues by spending a little more on your tires and getting thicker tires and, you know, just higher quality things in general. But that's all kind of part of the package, right? One thing I would recommend is taking a puncture repair kit out with you wherever you go, because, you know, you're much more likely to travel further with an electric bike. And I have had a flat tire while riding, and, you know, it took me, I was probably about 3 miles away from home, so it took me a while to walk home. But yeah, overall, I gotta give electric bikes a thumbs up. I don't think that having an electric wheel destroys the point of having a bike. I think that if you liked riding a bike as a kid and you have difficulty riding a bike today, whether it's just breathing or your legs not being as strong enough, I think that this is a great solution. It doesn't cost a lot, and it's fun, and when you're done with it, you can pass it on to someone else or pass it on to one of your kids. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer. Until next time, thanks for watching. See ya.